Hi everyone, this is Mary Reed, and I don't normally make videos like this. In fact, I don't think I've ever done one like this. But I have something that I want to share that feels important for people to know about. Um, just as a heads up for what you may be experiencing or going through right now, but also as a means of inspiring hope and faith and excitement. And those energies themselves are helpful in sort of mobilizing more of the awakening energies. For those of you who don't know me, I am a modern mystic. I've been having huge metaphysical experiences for 24 years, and I'm a conscious channel. I began channeling 4.5 years ago. I channel an extremely large collective of divine beings that I experience in a stadium. So what I'm sharing here is that there's a very big planetary activation of myriad kinds of energies here going on that started in earnest for me December 8th, Sunday afternoon, December 8th, and then continued on in different ways December 10th and 11th. There was a third activation that I experienced last night, but that's on a completely different level, and I'm not ready to share that yet. So I'm going to share the video that the live recording of when I told my community about it, and then our community sat in a collective activation amplification of that, sort of calling in everything to be activated. And then I'm going to come back and share the continuation of the activation that picked up on December 11th and 12th. So we'll start first with what happened on December 8th. Okay, wish me luck. I'm going to tell you about this. So earlier today, I just started feeling really tired, deeply tired. And then I just thought, I really feel like I need to meditate. And it was like a pull. It was just like a pull. And that pull made me very, very tired. Like I couldn't do anything but just go lay on my bed. And as soon as I laid down, I felt myself in Jesus. It's such a funny thing to say these things out loud. So when I went into the being of Jesus, it was way back before he was crucified. And he was in the process of gathering up his followers, knowing that his death was going to happen. And the reason why he had those particular disciples or followers was because they served a purpose. They served an energetic anchoring purpose. So he was in this experience, he was, I want to say in Capernaum. It wasn't in Jerusalem in my experience. It was just the knowing of what was going to come. And so he was sort of setting the stage energetically to anchor in the potential for knowing Christ consciousness in the collective planetary awareness. Christ consciousness is already here. It's just a matter of we're not aware of it. We're not in the experience awareness of it. So he was anchoring in through those people and through their lineages the potential for knowing. In other words, the potential for the resurrection. So in that, I felt the whole, like what was happening, like what got planted, if you will, 2000 whatever years ago. And then I watched Shiva with the trident, like casting that trident into the collective consciousness also as an anchoring through different people, different modalities, all these different ways that Shiva was anchoring in this higher divine consciousness, specifically as an intention. And part of that was through the stories. The stories themselves, perpetuated through the stories of Shiva, were anchoring the energies of the higher consciousness. And some of the people associated with Shiva and Jesus, and so many other modalities of faith or spirituality, or meeting a desire for union with God, with higher consciousness. The people themselves, the representation of the people themselves, were part of the anchoring energy. For example, when we think about the image of Jesus, the image itself is a transmission. It's a connection to that higher consciousness, to that Christ consciousness. So I was watching the ways that the visual form is in and of itself a form of transmission, an anchoring transmission to remind us, to pull us into the connection to those energies. And then after watching Jesus do all of this, and then Shiva do all of this, and by the way, I don't have any connection previously to Shiva, I watched Buddha. And what was different about Buddha was the energies of the Shiva and Christ consciousness energies were going vertical down into the planetary consciousness, but Buddha was going horizontal, like around. And Buddha's was not anchoring in something for later activation. Buddha was anchoring something that would be insidious to keep going the whole entire time, because Buddha's work was destabilizing or deconstructing the mind that would eventually be available or open up to these other activations. And then I saw all of the pyramids around. I'm not a pyramid person. I've never had anything to do with the pyramids. And I watched all of the profound anchoring of these pathways into Earth. And the first one I saw looked, you might imagine the Great Pyramid in Egypt. It would be the equivalent of, like, there's a garden with soft soil and there's a cement block that just went down into that soil, like heavy, anchored, weighted right there. And that's what the pyramids were here for. We're acting in the deep anchoring in of various pathways of collective consciousness, access to divine energies, but also to the divine energies that could be here to assist with all the things getting into place. Now, this is the first time I'm saying all of this out loud, so I realize it may be a bit of a jumble. In the pyramids, which are all over the world, it wasn't just the pyramids, there were all of these other structures. And the closest I can say is like Stonehenge and things like that. Just all of these other structures that were not only anchoring in energy, but there was a relationship to the stars, the planetary movements, the cosmos, in a way that just made sure that sort of in the matrix of our energies, everything stayed aligned and opened, and these channels, these pathways could be held, but then activated at some point. Activated at some point. So I watched all of this, and then I saw and felt like suddenly everybody's starting to hold hands, like spiritual teachers, people throughout all different times and space and geography and all these sorts of things start to hold hands, like energetically connecting. And as it was going, I was just feeling this amplification. And then I saw that there is a hub that connects them all. And it was like this huge bright light that came in, and it came into me. And when it came into me, I had this realization of, oh, this is why I've been always connected to the origins of things, the origins of existence, the origins of Christianity, the origins of Buddhism, the origins of this, why I have such a wide continuum of different kinds of experiences and all of this sort of stuff. Because I'm a point of planetary activation. And so immediately when that came in, I felt this I felt this huge like starting to build and build and build, and then it just like popped like a bubble, and then there was like a little joking going on like, "Oh, just kidding. It's not like that. It's just so simple." That's what happened. That like don't go into the big old story of all it's just happening already. It's just happening already. So it just took all of the, sort of big story scale out of the whole mix. And then I saw us in tonight's satsang. I saw all of us in tonight's satsang just beginning to get really connected, get really deep, and then start calling in all the things that are going to be activated. All the spiritual teachers, all of the leaders, all of the sites, all of the structures, all of the things that have been waiting for the big activation. As I'm speaking, I'm starting to feel really, really, really high and emotional here. So this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing tonight. We're activating. We're being a hub of activation, and it's like the core source into which we can call everything to get plugged in, and then we're just going to amplify the shit out of it. That's what we're doing. Okay, I don't know anything more than that. That's just what happened, and it was just right there ready for me, so ready for us. Now what happened just a couple of days later is late at night. I was ready for bed and I was just meditating before I went to sleep. And I just went right back into activation energies, but this time they were happening in a different way. First, I went into the Aboriginal areas of Australia, and I was watching like ancient energies rise up through people there, and then all of this energy getting activated specifically in the Aboriginal areas of Australia. And then I went into various mountains in Afghanistan, and there it was a feeling like the mountains themselves were a structure. Various different mountains, not all of them, but select mountains there were acting like structures, but the anchoring that was mentioned in the first activation. So I watched those beginning to kind of come online as well. And then I went into Africa, and in Africa it was very much like the land and the animals were starting to merge and blend and become like different entities, different energies altogether, creating in their union a different kind of being or energy. And it was activation in a union kind of way between land and animal in particular there. And then I went to Ireland and Scotland, and I watched all these fairy-like energies not only being activated, but it was like they were casting spells around everywhere, but the spells were simply removing collective blindness. And it was just this sort of jolly, happy, playful inciting of people's true awareness, the big awareness. So what was happening here, this went on, each of the sections went on just not very long, but the energies kept going and kept going. There was way, way more to it than I can articulate here. There's no way I can articulate everything that happened. But it went on for several hours. It just kept going and going and going. And in this experience, it was very clear that earth and nature were really core to this, like earth itself being activated from the inside, and the relational piece with human and animal and other life here. Now, as this went on for hours, I started to hear a repeat of the words, all the love that has ever been, all the love that has ever been. And it just kept growing and repeating and growing and repeating. It was absolutely extraordinary. I was just watching all the love that has ever been. And that was what was getting activated. All the love. It was like bringing everything across all dimensions, all time, everything getting activated through that. And as that was happening, I was watching and experiencing the disillusion of limitation and all the various ways. What I could see of how humans live in limitation was extraordinary. All the ways, just insidious ways that we live in limitation without knowing it. And chief among them is language. Because the moment we begin to label or narrate or talk about something, we've eliminated so much of what is the fullness of something being conveyed, which is why so much of what's happening now in our awakening is that more people are coming into direct information, channeled information. It's more an energetic transmission than just the words that are narrating. It's not just about information, it's about experience, a much, much fuller context to communication and conveyance. So I was watching all of this disillusion of limitation, which is exactly what's happening in the awakening, is that we're coming into all that we are, ever more, ever more, ever more of all that we are, and losing all of our old boundaries and limitations. And so ultimately, what this is all about right now, this activation, is all the love that has ever been is now coming to life in our world. And as that happens, it's helping to kick off the alchemical, the energetic transformation of all of the old structures, all of the old patterns, all of the ways of knowing life, essentially. So again, there is a third activation that happened last night, but I'm not ready to talk about that. But that does bring things into sort of the largest context. But for now, I just wanted to share this. I find it incredibly exciting and profoundly just this whole bolus of love now getting activated. So I'm very excited to see how things play out. I want to mention that this is not the reason I'm making this video, but I want to mention that I'm actually doing a group retreat in Central Virginia in February 26th through March 2nd. And given everything that's been happening, this has been a hell of a year for a lot of leveling up with me and with a lot of other people as well. But given where we are right now, the timing of this activation, I think this retreat is going to be really potent. So I invite people to check that out. You can go to my website and go to the public events or public offerings and scroll down to events. If you'd like to join me, that would be great. You're also welcome to check out joining my community if you want to be a part of all that we do. All right, that's what I wanted to share, and I'm excited. I hope you're excited about it too. And our time together will be of benefit to all beings. Namaste, namaste.